8 states are holding primary and runoff elections today. It's the first time Americans headed to the polls since the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade last week. CBS News Elections and Surveys Director Anthony Salvanto joins me now. Hello, Anthony. What are you going to be looking for that might be an indicator of how this decision on Roe v. Wade is playing out?
Hey, John. I think it's early to see exactly how it plays out because, look, it was only a couple of days ago, so you won't have seen too much of that built into these campaigns. But one indicator might be turnout. Maybe on the Democratic side, if people go looking for, I've got to do something, I want to show some kind of support. You know, some of these Democratic primaries in particular, you might only see about a third of the ballots that you would see in a general election. So if something goes up from that, that might be an indicator. One of the things we did in our poll last week was we said, does the overturning of Roe v. Wade make you more likely to turn out in the midterms? And Democrats were more likely than Republicans to say yes. Now, that could just be an expression of the moment. That could just be Democrats or anyone who has something perhaps feeling that it was taken away is more likely to be motivated than someone who has gained or wants to reward. So there's a lot mixed up in that, but that's one of those indicators. And the other one, really coming out of a lot, it's the interesting stuff that you reported on and we saw today, is looking on the Republican side at the candidates who are still talking about 2020, John.
Let me ask you, before we go into 2020, Anthony, as you think about polling going forward and you're looking at the reaction to Roe, the decision on Roe, and who's more or less likely to vote, are you going to be trying to figure out, it's not only whether they're more likely to vote, but whether they're more likely to vote in places that are going to actually matter in close races or in states, in states or districts that are close? Is that something do you think that's knowable going forward in terms of, or as a smart thing to look for as we're seeing how the fallout works in terms of elections?
Yeah, but I think you have to look for it in a very particular way. One is it going to be among voters who would ordinarily not turn out in a midterm? Let's imagine a midterm might get 50% turnout if it's a big high turnout for a midterm election. Well, there's going to be voters who are what we call lower propensity voters. If they start activating and that overall turnout number goes up, those are the ones that then you have to look and say, what's motivating you? And if they mention it's Roe v. Wade, then you have a phenomena. And yes, then again, you have to layer that into where it has impact. If this happens in California, not so much impact. If it happens in maybe it happens in Wisconsin, if it happens in Pennsylvania, then we've got a race.
Because it seems like it makes good sense to me. It seems like we're going to have so many people claiming what the polls are showing in terms of people's motivation on Roe, and a lot of it might not actually be based in sound data. So thank you for walking me through that. Let me ask you also, you mentioned about 2020. What about the January 6th hearings? Is there any evidence that those are playing a role or making a difference in the primaries?
I think a couple of things. One is you want to look at what Republicans describe happened on that day. And quite frankly, the hearings have not moved within the Republican Party. Those views, you're looking at about half the party that describes what happened that day as defending freedom and as patriotism. Now, who is that within the party? And this comes back to the primaries. You've got a lot of folks who are still looking at 2020 and thinking that the president, they're still talking about grievances over 2020. Of course, disproven, but they're still saying that the election was rigged, and they use that kind of terminology. I want to show you this. We asked people if they identified with the MAGA movement, the Make America Great Again movement. Of course, that's a Trump movement. And the folks who say that they do were much more likely among Republicans to say that Joe Biden was not the legitimate winner. How does that play into the primaries? Well, take a look back to those descriptions at people who say that they vote always in Republican primaries. They are more likely to have described January 6th with those terms, patriotism and defending freedom, than people who vote less often. All of which is to say, when you look through these primaries and you see a lot of these candidates for secretaries of state, like we're seeing, in some of these places, maybe in Colorado and other places, in Pennsylvania, there have been elections where the Republican Party has nominated people who still call into question 2020, and this is a reason why, because primaries bring out people who are more ideological.
That's right. They're speaking to the voters where they are, the voters they need where they are, and those voters still have questions about the 2020 election despite the mountain of evidence. Anthony Salvanto, thank you so much for being with us. It's always good to talk to you.
Thanks, John.